23, I want to know about all the forms. I feel like it's a very neglected topic from music teachings. Good question. All right, so we can tackle this. So to say you want to learn all the forms, that's a pretty big ask. There are many forms. We shall say forms / structures can be described as one very, very simple thing. Forms and structures are the number and order of themes / sections found in a piece of music. All right, so for example, ternary form that you mentioned earlier, ABA. You have an A theme, then you have a B theme, then you repeat the A theme. Many songs, and like pop songs, will be AABA. You have your first verse, you repeat your verse, then you do the chorus, and then you go back to the new verse or whatever. You've got rondo form. Let's add. You've got rondo form, which is ABACA, etc., where you have a repeating refrain, and each verse is something new. So if we take this idea and we go back to sonata form. So sonata form would basically be you have your A theme. Typically, you then repeat your A theme. All right, then you have a little bit of a transition period before having your B theme and repeat your B theme. Then, depending if you do a exposition, double exposition, you repeat the whole thing. Then you have your development, all right, which is different each time, depending on the composer. You're basically introducing your themes, chopping them up, modulating them, doing all kinds of weird things. So you could say, for example, for your development, you introduce your A theme, then you pit it against your B theme. Then you have a variation of your A theme, another stronger variation of your A theme before the B theme comes back as a variation. Then you have a bigger variation of your theme pop up before finally you come back to your statement of your themes. If this is getting confusing, remember, all forms and structures referred to is the number and the order of themes and sections found in a piece of music. How many themes do you have? You have an A theme and a B theme. All right. What order do you use those themes? All right. Now, this is a very traditional approach. We call this like the concert approach. All right. This changes in film music. The same idea applies, but I should actually put the concert approach on here. So you have set forms, set / traditional forms. All right, so you've got something like ternary form. You've got binary form, which is just repeating an idea. You have, what's it called? Where you just repeat the same idea over and over and over again. It starts with an A. I'm blanking. But then you have, so like I said, rondo form. Equals A, B, A, C, A, etc. So, and then you've got things like sonata form, which, like I said, is a bit larger. But the idea is that in concert approach, you have set or traditional forms that you can study. And as you study them, remember that each definition is literally just how many different themes do you have and what order do they appear in. So when you say you want to learn all of the forms, all the structures, that's cool. That's great. There's no set number though, because you can always invent your own. You can always create a new form, a new technique. So for example, I went back to like sonata form. It has these three main sections: the exposition, where you introduce the A theme, transition, and then you to your new theme, which is usually in a different key. It's a contrasting idea, and then usually you repeat the whole thing if it's a double exposition. Then you have a development section where you have the themes A and themes B fight for dominance. All right, they duke it out until one of them wins, and usually it's whatever the recapitulation is. You return to the themes that they same, and say theme A was in the key of C major, theme B was in the key of G major. If theme A won, then you would return both themes. This time, both of them are written in C major, the key of theme A, to show that theme A won. That's a very basic breakdown of sonata form. You can also adjust that. Lots of the romantic composers departed from that tradition to create something loosely sonata-based. All right. Then you have even larger forms, which I'm going to be revealing my ignorance here, where a symphony is usually something like, it usually starts with the sonata form. Then I believe it's something a little lower energy, higher energy, and then end on a bang. All right, I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've studied classical things. So if someone understands like the traditional Haydn approach to symphonies, pop them in the pop them in the description. I know a lot of you are huge classic nerds. I am a huge lover of music history, but I haven't really done much with the classical styles. So yeah, symphony would be an arrangement of individual pieces of music called movements that follow a specific order. So this is the traditional content approach. A film or media approach is, we're going to call them subordinate forms. So this is film music, video game music, TV music, anime music, whatever kind of soundtracks you want to work with, part of a larger form. Subordinate forms means that the form, the structure, comes from the story itself. The structure comes from outside of the music itself. All right? So, for example, in films, each scene determines the form. That same, I don't know why I put out films. Because that's all media, basically. Any story, the story of each scene, each chapter determines the form. And again, that term form, just the number and orders of themes or sections found in a piece of music. So you're writing music for a scene. You're like, all right, here, because of the story that happens, I'm going to use the hero's theme. Then nothing really important happens at this point. There's a lot of dialogue. So I'm just going to have like a transition period where I set the mood with some chords. I'm just kind of like creating a little dramatic sound. You just kind of keep going while they're talking. And then it starts to come up. And then you can bring the character theme in, whatever. But you got a little transition. And so you're thinking, all right, character theme, transition. Then I have the kind of villain's theme. All right, and you've swapped over there because it got to fill the tension or whatever. And so you can see how the scene determines what music is being used, when, and how it follows the story. So one of the reasons why this is an often neglected topic is because it shifts from genre to genre. It shifts from style to style. It shifts from focus to focus. And honestly, it's really quite simple. So the reason why forms and structures are important is because they offer a guide. All right, so as like an author, your approach to writing will change determining whether you're writing a blog versus an essay versus a thesis versus a short story versus a novel versus a screenplay. Whatever you're writing, your approach is going to determine by what form or structure you're trying to follow. It's the same with the music. If you know that you're trying to write a sonata, like I'm working on right at the moment, you know that you're going to, at the very least, need a theme A and a theme B. All right? If you know you're going to be writing a rondo form, you know that you need an A, B, and C theme. If you know you're writing a song, you know you're going to need a verse, a bridge, a chorus, a refrain, whatever you're going to need for it, right? So the structure allows you to understand what needs to be accomplished. With a film, the scene allows you to know what the music needs to accomplish, all right? And so it's, once you have a form, you can use that as a guide to what decisions you need to make, but ultimately the other kind of techniques and stuff are the things that tend to take a little bit more time. Does that make sense? I hope that answers your question.